We're here doing some rear shoes and rear drums on our 97 Astrovan, and we've already removed the wheel, put some jack stands underneath it. We're going to pull the drum off and go through and show you how to replace all the springs and the hardware inside here. These were really pitted, and so what I did is I just welded them up, grind them back down, and I just could have put a fresh coat of just flat paint. But yeah, these ones here on the bottom were really bad, and this one here had a groove in it so bad that it just the brake pads or the brake shoes, they just, when they were riding inside there, they were just stuck, so they wouldn't move at all because they were stuck in those grooves. Even up here I had to weld those up. So I just welded them all up, ground it down, and then we'll start up putting it back together. Okay, I'm going to take all my parts and I'm just going to lay them out on this rag and just clean them up. They've been sitting overnight in gas just to kind of help break up some of the grease and grime. You could just probably spray them with brake cleaner too, but which I did, but I just let them sit just to get all the old stuff off, and then just dry them off, and then we'll lay them out, get everything set up so that we can start reassembly. What I like to do is, just because I've done it enough times, I like to kind of place it together kind of how I remember it coming apart, just so that I get an idea of how it's supposed to go back together. And then when I start to assemble it, I kind of know which direction. So I'll place everything down on a little rag, just like it's laying here. It goes up there onto the brake drum. So we'll start assembly here. One more thing, you want to inspect all your hardware, make sure nothing's bent, nothing's cracked, make sure there's nothing deformed. Just go through it. This tensioner, you're going to have to adjust it to where it's all the way closed. Just make sure all your brackets look nice and there's no tension in them. There's no scarring or anything that might need to be buffed out. Just kind of go through them and inspect everything. You can get a new hardware kit, but if there's nothing wrong with it, no sense in replacing it. If everything's working and looks fine, this goes in here. So I don't know how long this video is going to be. I want to try to make it as in-depth as possible, because doing rear drums can be kind of intimidating, but if you have everything situated together, it's really not that tough, because you can reference on the other side over there and get it put back together. So alright, and then to install this emergency brake, all you have to do is just put it in on an angle like that, slide it up, get it into position like that, and then put our little pin from behind, take it through. This is the one you want to start with. You don't want to do the other one first, because if you do, it's really difficult. And you just put this little piece on, and you got to take the little bushing rider plate that goes on, and then the little spring. I'm just going to use needle nose pliers, and sometimes this takes a couple times to get it on. Sometimes it doesn't just fall into place. Sometimes you get lucky. And they do make a tool that you can buy, and it makes it a lot easier. But for this instance, I'm just going to show you how to do it the hard way. So I like to try to twist it from behind. Alright, I just got everything lined up. I'm just going to twist it in there, and that shoe is in place. Now, from here I'll put a spring over to here and then another spring on this side. But that's just getting that back shoe in. Alright, the next step is this little adjuster spring. This just kind of keeps the rigidity between the two shoes. As you'll notice, one side's bigger than the other. You want the bigger side to go towards the rear. And if you get confused, just go look at the other side. I still have the wheel and the drum off on the other side. I like to do that. That way, in case you have any problems, you know what to do. So that needs to go on. This goes in the bottom. I can put that on at the end. This is the adjuster for that. I can put that on at the end too. This here I don't need just yet, so I'm going to go and put this other brake shoe on. And there is a little spring that needs to go right in the front of that long plate that I was just showing you. So this spring needs to go in there. Actually, I'll probably put that in first. The spring goes towards the front. It just keeps that tension on there. And then put the little pin through this side like that. And then I will put the rear. I'll just put the shoe in place. I'm not worried about lining it up right yet. The first thing I need to do is get this spring on. Sometimes you can actually put these on just by hand if you line everything up. It just depends on how coordinated you are. Sometimes you need the pliers. I don't know if you can see from that angle, but if you can get it in there, just get it lined up. Then take your needle nose. And sometimes these take a few times to get lined up. They're kind of the hardest part of the job. But if you know what you're doing, they're not too tough, but you do have to try a couple times to get it in there. And then just turn it, and that's it. Now this little spring just popped out, not a big deal, because we don't have that pressure spring up in here. So just set that in place, and then we'll kind of set the shoes. Now it popped into place. So, but we still have springs that got to go this way and springs that got to go this way. So we'll do that next. All right, now our next step is the yellow spring needs to go in the front drive, or the front shoe. So you just take that yellow spring, just put it in there, let it rest right there. Then this one needs to go on this side and rest on that plate. And then you have this little washer, and this just kind of keeps the two brake shoes together. Now this does take some finesse to put everything lined up, and so what we'll do is I'm just going to try and use the needle nose pliers. I want to try to do this all on one, just by using one tool. There are some special tools that I own, but I'm just going to show you that it can all be done with one or possibly two tools. This is a really strong spring. What I might end up using is just some Kleins to put that on. So let me go grab that real quick. All right, I'm back. These right here are just crimper Kleins that I like to use because they got really good leverage on them, and I can kind of get in here and kind of pull it into place. So that's pretty much it for that. Then you want to take this one, and this one goes, you can either do it, I think this should go over the top so that you can bend it back. So it just takes a little finessing and getting everything kind of lined up and into position. Then I'll take that same tool and slide it forward, and sometimes you have to try a couple times. Just don't get too frustrated. This is where most people quit. You just gotta understand that sometimes it doesn't just flow like you want it to.